Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Canadian Joe War Stories. You got your host here, Eddie, back for another episode. Endlessly Interviews Eddie, Part 3. Here's Endlessly, the co-host.
All right, everyone. All right, this is Endlessly Interviews Eddie, Part 3. You already know. Clearly, we're in the cell, so all the questions today are going to have to do mostly with being in the cell. Do you have anything to say on that before I begin?
This looks like my old cell. This is exactly what the cells look like in Maplehurst, Lindsay, and Penetang. All right, Penetang Prison, Lindsay Jail, Lindsay Super Jail, and Maplehurst. Literally said it was the worst one in Ontario when we were reading about it. All right, this is you guys are seeing the real cell, exactly how
we did research. Yep, this is how it is. So these are all going to be questions about being in the cell. All right, then. So, ready? Number one. How did you work out in the cell, and what was your view out that window? How'd you work out with?
Okay, the view is garbage. You don't really get much of a view except for basically the fence. You see the fence. The odd time you might see a duck walk by. You might see the people that patrol every once in a while go by. That's about it. It's very like a track. You just see the property line and a track, and then you just see nothing. It's like basically a fence and just nothing. There's no buildings. There's no land. Well, there's land, but I mean, there's no buildings. You can't see any landscapes, any like thing resembling that you could recognize besides a barbed wire fence and like the ground. You know what I mean? It's not very good view, put it that way. And then the working out, we do all kinds of things in the cell to work out. You can do push-ups, incline push-ups, decline push-ups off the table there. You can do what I used to do and put my hands on the window ledge like this, like for your triceps with your feet up like that, and just keep doing like that, you know, like with the dips with your feet on the ledge, so that way your feet are balanced and you can keep doing these tricep things. And then I don't know what they're called. I'm not the best workout technical person for this, so I'm just going to tell you what I know. And then sometimes on that bunk, usually there's a big metal pole that attaches the two bunks, like a metal kind of like this. And what I do is put a bed sheet around that piece of metal, and I hold it with the sheet like this, and then I lean
yep.
And I pull myself up like that, you know, and pull myself up. And then we also do stuff like put books in pillowcases for these, you know, for that kind of stuff. And sometimes even water bags, you know, we'll make a nice water bag if we get a garbage bag filled with water, stuff like that.
Can I ask you about the ducks? I don't think there's really ducks like often, especially in the west side of America. Okay. So why was there ducks? Was there like lots of large ponds?
Ducks walk around
random ducks?
Geese walk around random.
Okay.
Anywhere there's near like water or ponds and stuff, you'll see like ducks and geese.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just never heard of that. I know like in some prisons they let you have like cats and dogs. So like, have you heard of that?
Wild on the other side of the fence, just like, you know.
Oh, okay, they just would want like wonder.
Not like they're in the prison or anything like that. It's just you can see on the fence line, you'll just see the odd little bird or a duck or whatever. And these, you know, these Canadian geese are really, really bad for like going all over the sidewalks and doing their business, if you know what I mean. Like they have no respect at all. They just come out from their pond area. It's like they don't want to do it in their area. So like 50 of them will come on there, and it's just everywhere all over the sidewalk.
It's a nuisance. It's like pigeons in Vegas. It's a nuisance.
That's what it's like.
It's nasty. But, yeah.
You know.
All right. So let's go to question number 2.
All right.
What's the longest time you had with the same cellie? And maybe name one cellie who drove you crazy.
All right. So the longest I had one cellie in Maplehurst, this is the jail we're going to speak on today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into every single place I've been at because that'll take all day. All right. So my longest cellie at Maplehurst would be this guy named Goku. He was my age. He was from Brampton. He was part of the Crips. I don't know which Crips exactly he was part of. The Brampton set that had to do with the West End, and that's all I really knew about it. I didn't really get into that with him, you know what I mean? Because back then, I wasn't really trying to get involved with anything. This was actually like my first time pretty much in there, and I had the bottom bunk, okay? And this is gonna sound weird, but I had the bottom bunk and I had been there the longest, and usually the person with the bottom bunk's there the longest, okay? But some people do like the top bunk because it's defensive, like, okay, and I'll get into that after, but this guy comes
No,
in.
you should touch on that now because that was the question I had for you. You can
Okay.
touch on that now.
So
Yeah.
the bunks are like, okay,
Yeah,
the
we're
top
actually
bunk,
gonna put it on.
supposedly guys like it better for defense. If someone comes in there to get you, it's more defensive because you can use your feet and try to kick them in the face if they try to pull you down or something like that, or smack them in the face with your little bat. But like, if you're sleeping or something on the top bunk and they grab you and pull you off, you're toast, you know, you smack your head off the ground. So it's a little like, you just gotta make sure that you trust your cell partner more or less. And like, um, on the bottom you can get messed up and on the top. So to me, it doesn't make no difference. To me, it's like,
Yeah.
to me, it's like if you were on the bottom bunk, then you need to really friggin' hold your own. Like you can't just let someone, if you're in there first, let somebody take your bottom bunk from you.
Yeah.
If you let somebody take your bottom bunk from you, then basically you're gonna be looked at like a bitch, and you're gonna be probably picked on and extorted for the rest of your time you're there. Your sully's gonna think you're a bitch. Now, if you offer it, I don't know. That's weird. Like me, he came in the cell, he said he wanted it. I said I've been here the longest, and like I was literally ready to run the fade with him. You know, we literally started wrestling and stuff like that, and that was about it. You know, and we just wrestled around a bit, and like, you know, he started laughing, so I started laughing, and it wasn't a big issue. You know, he's like, okay, I'll go on the top, and I was like, all right, go on the top. That's cool. So that was my longest celly. We got along really good.
It literally looked just like this. That's
yeah, exactly like this, except it was like the opposite way type deal.
Okay, yeah.
Same, but the opposite version of it.
Like if it was flipped.
Some are like this, and then the one right beside it will be the opposite, and it keeps flipping back and forth like that, right? Because the two that are attached, right? Like on the other side of the wall there, the bunk's attached to it. So it would be on the right-hand side in the cell next door. Anyways.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so over a year, this guy was my celly in this one cell, Goku. So yeah, he was my celly for a really long time. I actually left my address book there, and when I left,
good lord, what happened?
There, and he literally friggin' sat there, called every single number in there, trying to get like three-ways and stuff like that. That's crazy.
I don't doubt that. Scandalous, right?
Yeah.
Shady. Hell is shady. Where'd you go? Oh, I see. So you covered question number 3 by talking about the bottom and the top bunk, which was kind of random that you brought it up on question 2 by accident. But anyway, we're on question 4.
My celly, sorry, I wasn't done. This guy about
my bad.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you this one thing. I just want to say this one thing. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay.
Me and this guy used to gamble like crazy together. Like for like we played dice for like morning juice. We'd like because we both didn't have canteens, so we'd be like playing for our like desserts. We'd be playing for anything like that we possibly could to get extra. You know, we were both like trying to hustle each other nonstop. So
by the way, y'all, do you see where I'm sitting? Like I did not choose this side, but it wouldn't let us switch. So like I have to sit.
That's where dudes sit to watch TV sometimes on the toilet, and then like I'm like kind of sitting on like the chair.
I was trying to switch, but it wouldn't let us switch.
Like a skull theme for you guys. Every time we've been doing like a theme for you guys. We did the skull theme. We did the, you know, the ski theme.
Today we're blue and white.
In the cell theme, and we try to match every day when we do these endlessly and Eddie videos.
And we need to start. We're gonna make polls more on the community part. Yeah, so we'll talk about that later.
You guys gotta check those out no matter what. And
every day
we're gonna be having our own channel where it's not gonna be nothing to do with prison content. It's just gonna be me and Endlessly on our own channel called Endlessly and Eddie with the shots, and it's just gonna be basically about us and our everyday life and what we do and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just going for dinners or whatever. It's going to be our everyday life. You guys are going to see everything from us talking like as a podcast about new stuff that we like, or going out for dinner, showing you guys what restaurant we were at, or, you know, just showing you guys our everyday life.
We are very simple people. Like we actually are very like homebodies, and we don't like to like do a lot. Like we like to work, obviously, but like we don't be crazy. So it's going to be fun regardless, because who knows what we're really up to.
Right, and you guys
about
have
that.
to stay tuned because we're gonna be doing something different every single time on the channel.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not just be doing like other couples, little prank reactions and stuff like that.
yeah.
We're
No,
gonna be
we're
doing
not.
our own thing. It's basically gonna
No
be
fake
our
shit.
lives. It's gonna be our true lives, and basically you guys are gonna be able to follow our lives if you want to. If you guys love us enough, if
Already
you,
showed the Sims. I'm back, y'all.
you can follow our lives, which are real life. Our lives will
It's
be
our real life.
You get it? And
It's our real life.
so that's that, and you guys can check that out. You know, we're gonna start that very shortly once she arrives, and we are 100% all good because we want to do that one in person, right? Honestly,
No matter what, like when I said we're home buddies and we're like boring and stuff like that, that's not, I didn't say boring, but like we're very creative people, and like you're in for like the time of your lives, just like seeing like the stuff we do. It's like fire. Like you have no idea like what comes out of our minds on the real.
we're not gonna start it though until you arrive.
Nope, not till I get there. Y'all gotta wait.
All right,
Y'all
so
gotta
you
wait.
can go and subscribe now though. It's out there.
Yes.
It's out there. It's already made. All right, guys, check it out. There's no content yet though, but all right, let's continue.
Okay, so anyway, question number 4: eating in the cell or the range? They call it more so the range in Canada. What's better, eating in the cell or the range?
Okay, the cell, the range, the pod, it don't really matter, right?
Okay.
No matter what anyone calls it, it's all the same. And yes, they
True
call
that.
it here a lot, endlessly. That's correct. They do call it range a lot. Basically, it's Maplehurst makes you eat in the cell. Every other place I've been makes you eat out of your cell. You don't really have a choice in the matter. So basically, me personally, I like to eat on the range because you can do more deals with everybody. You know what I mean? You don't have to have the one server out there running around trying to do your deals for you, right? They get annoying after a while because I always got so much deals going on, right? So they get annoyed, and it's like I don't want them running around like my errand boy, you know. So, but you kind of like if you're locked in, what do you do? So when you're locked in, it's like you can only really do deals with your celly, and then like you know, it's just so hard to do deals with people. That's the only thing I would say about it. Some people that I guess get extorted for their food might like it inside the cell.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's gotta be a reason some like to enjoy being more.
But the guys that aren't getting extorted for their food and fight for their food and 10 toes down, like enough times people try to take my food and I had to fight for it. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not like trying to bully people or take their stuff. I was more of a defensive fighter in there. I only did stuff when I had to. If I probably in my younger days, I probably did extort a couple times. Like, no, I did, but like that was only for emergency purposes. If I was like starving to death and I had no canteen, I had nothing. I'm not sitting there with a canteen and still extorting dudes. You know what I mean? So there's a difference. And yeah, I swear to God, like these guys would just get starved. It's crazy. Like, and that's why it happens. And that's why all this bad stuff happens because guys literally don't get fed properly.
Starving. And that's honestly a human essential, like anything you need, like water and food. It's always bothered me that men and women go through that.
Causes a lot of the violence too, because you
terrible.
know guys are hangry, you know what I mean?
As
and
they should be, because it's
to go to bed hungry and wake up hungry, and it's the worst feeling ever. It's hard to sleep, and
absolutely.
I like eating on the range better. I guess some people might like it in the cell better. I personally like it on the range.
Got you. Excuse me. So what is lockdown really like when it's lockdown? Lockdown in the when everyone's on lockdown in the cell.
Lockdown in the cell, it's like you better have a good celly to talk to, kick back and tell some war stories, or you know, you're gonna be pretty bored. You gotta know how to entertain yourself, you gotta know how to draw. Like that's how I started drawing and like taking my real time drawing stuff. Like if I try to draw something in 5 minutes, it's gonna look like a kindergarten drew it. But if I take my time and keep drawing it over and over again and erasing parts and doing it really properly, I can draw pretty well. Not great, but I can do it a lot better than when I first tried to. That's what I'm gonna say. And I can take my time and like, you know, in the cell, it gets real boring, you know, and for your hygiene, it gets to the point where it's like you got to start bird bathing in the sink, washing yourself in the sink, you know what I mean? Head, everything, your face, your underarms, and all that. You're washing in the sink, literally having a bath or a shower.
And that sucks too. I feel like that's also an essential to be a human being as well as food and water. But yeah,
think about that. I know some dudes that had a toilet plugged in their cell when they were on lockdown. Oh my God, this was treacherous. Every time they had to go to the bathroom, think about that. Anyway, I won't get into
Very
that.
treacherous.
That's just torturing somebody, and they have to eat in there and everything. Okay, so it's just sick.
Terrible.
Lockdown can be sick. Sometimes when they do lockdowns, it's for a reason because they did a search and found something, right? So usually when they do a search, they come in and they'll take all the people's sheets, clothes, everything, right? So when they take all the sheets, clothes, this, that, and the third, it's like we're standing there in our boxers waiting for the clothing cart to come around and give us our new sheets from getting raided by the search, because everything got taken away in bins. That's how they do it here. And yeah, you wait for a pretty long time sometimes. Sometimes it'll be an hour. Sometimes we'll be sitting there waiting 4 hours, just sitting there on the bunk, no sheet, no clothes, just in your boxers, just like, when's
Degrading.
coming? But it's just ridiculous.
I guess this kind of leads into the next question, though. We can go on to that. What was your cleaning routine like, Eddie? What was your cleaning routine? Okay. Yeah, in the cell.
My cleaning routine was in the morning. I'd wake up every morning and they crack the cells for about 20 minutes in the morning. So I had this little bottle that I used to always keep, a mixture of shampoo, disinfectant, and water, right? So I'd shake that up, and that would be my cleaning thing. I had a spray bottle. Not a lot of dudes have spray bottles. They're for the cleaners and the cleaning supplies in the closet, but I always end up like buying one or snagging one because I like to have it in my cell. Because when I smoke weed, I used to get paranoid in the cell, so I like to spray the air freshener,
Yeah.
And me personally, my cleaning routine would be on point, crazier than anybody. I don't know. Like I've had guys come to me and say, "Yo, I've never seen no cell whiter than this."
Where would you start? We got the cell right behind us. Where would you start?
At the basically, I would start on the far end of the walls, right? And I would wash all the walls first, right? Then I would get up on the table and up on the top bunk and wash the ceilings, right? This might sound crazy to people, but look at how small
that's what your mind
world, that's your whole life, that's your living room, bathroom, this, that, and everywhere, your whole house. So I'm up on the bunk, this is one cell that I had for a really, really long time that I did this in. Okay, I didn't do this like the first day. I did this after I had been in a routine in this one cell, and I was going to be in the cell for a very long time. So I started cleaning it on a routine every morning, and it just kept it was already clean in the morning because I'm an OCD freak. So it's already clean in the morning, but I would still go over everything with the disinfectant and the shampoo bottle stuff. And basically what I would do is rip up towels, and I would put the shampoo water all over the whole floor, that concrete floor everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then I would step on the towels, and I would use my feet as like little circles like this all around the floor, right? So once I get all that done in the floor, then you go take the towel and go around and you dry it all. It's like so spotless, you can't even see a speck of dirt on there, And then I would do the table, disinfect the table. I do my sink and toilet. Now, this might sound like it takes a long time, but literally it would take me about like 10 minutes, my routine. It was a workout. It was a real fast thing. I would just do it. I would go fast. You know what I mean? I did it every day, so it was a quick thing for me. And
that's good, because I was kind of getting sad because I was like, this is crazy. You guys are mentally like messed up, thinking like
we only have 20 minutes to clean in the morning with the cleaning supplies with dudes.
Guys
can get the broom or the mop and go in their cell. But I personally wouldn't use the broom or mop in my cell that they use.
Because they hell no, yeah.
And I just rip up white towels because they give you freaking towels like crazy. I rip up the towels for everything, man.
Okay, cool.
I used to get misconduct sometimes if the guards were real assholes. They come in there and see all these ripped up towels. They could give you misconduct. Most of the time, 99% of the time, they wouldn't. But there was this one jerk off that did actually give me a misconduct one time. Anyway, it was because one time he freaking tried to catch me or something, and he couldn't catch me. So he tried to freaking get me another way. Anyway, so the cleaning, it was like, you got to stay clean, man. And,
yeah, absolutely.
The toilet and the sink is disinfecting, same thing. And you keep flushing your toilet, right? So there's no water in it. And then you take like your rag or whatever and clean all that quickly, while it's flushing. And that's that. And you'll see my toilet was sparkling, but some toilets are so grimy you just can't get it off. And then I try to get a different cell. Some are just so dirty you just can't get it out.
And I mean, at that point, you're like everyone has said before, on just even prison channels I've watched, like you're living in a bathroom, so like you have to take it's your like
Yeah,
you
you're
take
right.
responsibility for your small space you have and keep it clean. Otherwise, like you're just a nasty person. So those things matter, like for
I
real.
make the bed every morning. On top of that, I have
Absolutely.
white sheets there and my pillow and everything like that. I have everything all nice and made up with my, my blanket folded up there as my pillow on the
Yep.
top because it's a little bump. And I literally had a brand new white blanket. A lot of guys had like beige blankets that were like orange mixed with the jumpers and like real like dots all over them, little fuzzies all over them. But I had like literally a brand new one. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I remember a brand.
Not a lot of people had the brand new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
none
for
of
real, for real.
people had that. But I was the type, if brand new stuff came, I would literally buy it for an item or a canteen or something. Like I'm not gonna not want the new stuff. And they love to just give like 5 or 6 new things and then 40 guys on the pod just to see who's gonna get it or something like that. It's like their funny game or something. They want to see who's gonna get
They
this.
already know everyone's gonna be
Fight.
trying to fight for that. Yeah, for real, for real. Like everyone wants the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the simplest things, is, I'm just so glad you're free. But anyway, all right, let's move on to question number 7. We did speak about, well, let me just read it. So, tell me the routine of like if when you realize because there's no like clocks, I believe there's no clocks. You just have to pay attention to like meals and the lights going on. So is that how you mealtime when the lights went in on and off? Like what time did you all have the lights go off or on? Meal times.
Okay. The
Explain
lights
that.
go on at like 6 a.m. pretty much, 5:30, 6 a.m.
She's off.
after breakfast. Right? Some jails are different, some are like 7. Most of them are not the same times. Most of them are all of different times, but usually very, very early in the morning before like 7 or 8. And some of them are even like 5. Wake up for court at like 5 to go to court. And then they'll wake up at 6 or something like that. The light will go on. And so very, very early, the lights go on and you go to bed very, very late, or sorry, very, very early. You'll get locked in at like 8:30 at night, right? A grown man in the cell at 8:30 at night, and then lights out at 10, but I don't even stay up until the lights go out because it's just like you go in your cell 8:30.
You're boring.
Whole day's over. You've been up since 6. You've been freaking playing cards all day, doing everything all day, programming all day. And that was the routine. And you go in at 8:30, or some jails were 7:30, tell you the truth, or even earlier, And yeah, that was just like the routine there, going in and out like that. You just got to get used to it, and it's not fun. But the clocks to know what time it is. We did have a TV on the range, so when we're on range, we can know what time it is if we want to change it to the news,
the weather channel or something.
Yeah. But when you're in your cell, I guess there's ways to see the clock. You know what I mean? There is a clock, I believe, but
or you can sign.
You're locked.
But we've never talked about sign. Yeah.
Confinement, or if you're in a cell that doesn't have a view, but you could probably always holler out to somebody if you really want to know. And the meals, yeah. So you know what time it is basically when you're on a pod, but when you're in confinement is where it really messes with your head, where you don't know what time it is.
Okay, I have one more question, but I can ask like a bonus question before I ask this if you want, if we have time.
Lights on in confinement all the time too to mess with you, so you don't know what time it is. Yeah, I'll take the bonus.
I've heard that. So the bonus question is this: it's before the last question because I don't want to forget it. So how are you sign language communicating through? Yes. So Eddie knows sign language, yo. Like that has me like intrigued.
Right.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you to pick up on it, or like did you use it like obviously often? See, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I mean, it's a skill regardless. You learned it from being incarcerated, but
yeah, and
how long did it take for you to pick up on it?
Language, so I don't want to say I know every single word in sign language or anything like that. Yeah. But I do know most of the letters. I do know like some stuff. Yeah. I do know some little bit.
You do sign when you don't even realize it on your lives, like with words and stuff. I realize that. You really do. You really do.
I can do stuff, but I don't even realize it sometimes. It's just so natural,
Yeah. All right. So here we go with question 8. This is the last question. Where's the blessed? Where's the best place to keep commissary in the cell? maybe the blessed place as well. The
Commissary
best
in
place.
myself is okay. For the top bunk, it would be in the far back corner underneath your mattress, right? But if you have like
Okay.
a lot of chips and stuff, basically the best place to keep it is on your shelf because that's the best place to keep it. But that's where everyone can see it. But if you like don't care and you're like 10 toes down and no one's gonna touch your shit, and if they do, you're gonna fight them. Well, I just keep the shit on the shelf. But what I do is I keep my hygiene stuff on the shelf, and then I put a white pillowcase down underneath that shelf, right?
Okay.
The shelves aren't by the toilet. They're a little bit over more. That's got hooks on it, whereas ours didn't. Ours just had one ledge and then another ledge. Like one shelf,
Okay.
one shelf for me type deal, like that. Right.
Okay.
So basically what we would do is put our stuff on our own shelf, and then like that table over there would be like for like pen, like drawing and like, you know, writing and stuff and whatever, eating.
Mhm.
And basically over by my bed somewhere, I would put some stuff behind my head behind, because the bottom bunk has a longer, seems like it has a longer area where there's like this much space in behind your head. If you pull your mattress down to the very,
Oh,
there'll be like that much space in between, and because it's closed in, see here, it doesn't do it justice. It's not closed in the way it normally is. Normally I told you there's a pole there and you can't really see in on the side because there's a ladder going up.
you said this cell looked better than yours, right?
Metal, yeah, because there's no metal ladder going up. So how would they even get up?
Oh,
Gotta go jump from the table onto the top bunk, right? So this cell obviously does not have a ladder. Wait, let me see. No, it doesn't. That's kind of weird. But normally there would be a metal ladder attached from the bottom bunk to the top bunk, and it
okay.
creates like a cubby pocket and like a shadow. So when
Oh, okay.
you look at your head, you know what I mean? And like it's hard to explain, but yeah, you have about that much room in behind your head, and that's where I used to keep a lot of my chips and stuff like that.
For real.
Yeah, and the white pillowcase, I used to love putting that on the floor, and then line out all the canteen on there, like, you know, and the stuff
Just
that
because that's
I'm putting behind my head, and the stuff that I'm gambling and like whatever with, right there on the pillowcase, and my pops.
right.
Yeah, that's how I did it. If you're
All
gonna
right,
gamble,
guys.
bring your item to the table and put it underneath the table. And if you lose, just give them the item, and don't go into debt. Don't gamble if you don't have the canteen in yourself.
Listen to his advice because that's very good advice. Don't be getting in a hot mess.
I gambled
you don't
the
need
whole
to be.
time I was in there. I'm not saying gambling is good to do. It helped me kill my time. I wouldn't have known what to do without gambling. Right? All I did was gamble for items, playing Bidwiz, Ludi, which is a dice game, poker. I didn't really like poker too much. You know what I mean? There's too much bullshit going on with the poker. But yeah, basically you want to lose your one item and get the fuck out of the poker game. Go play Bidwiz for one item at a time.
So that wraps it up for episode number 3 with Endlessly Interviews Eddie. So stay tuned for number 4, y'all.
Yeah,
You never know when it's gonna drop. We'll get a
Remember,
consistent routine if you all pay attention. Hit that
subscribe
like
to our
button,
new
y'all.
channel. It's not going
If
to
you're
be
into it, we're gonna do more.
for a few weeks, but yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, a lot coming ahead. Bye.
Bye, guys.